Hello guys, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is your host Sam Capizzi at CryptoSomniac, here to bring you everything crypto related, where the rich never sleep. Today we'll be talking about WALTON Coin. So thank you all for tuning in. Again, WALTON Coin is a coin or a project that I've been talking about here on the channel. I had promised to do my due diligence and do the review and a proper review. So I ran ahead and I read the white paper. And I think a lot of these other YouTubers out there, they don't read the white paper, to be honest. I don't think they take a big deep dive down into what this actually does and what it works. And I had spent several days reading this one. This one was a tough one. It was 60, 70 pages long. And I read all of it over the course of about 2 or 3 days. And I know some people are comparing it to IOTA, and it's really nothing quite like IOTA. Very different. And it just baffled me when a lot of people talk about WALTON Coin, and they didn't really know anything. So what I did is I went ahead and I broke it down for you guys. So WALTON Coin stands for, well, WALTON anyway, stands for Wisdom Alters Label Trade Organization and Network. Quite a long acronym there, so it's shortened for WALTON. And WALTON Coin is named after the guy who created RFID, which we'll talk about a little bit here going forward. So that is WALTON Coin, and their mission here is basically they combine RFID technology with the blockchain, and we'll talk all about what RFID technology is inside. And their goal, their mission is to basically eliminate retail counterfeiting. So basically the process of selling cheap clothes or cheap fake lookalikes, essentially. And we'll talk, like I said, all about this inside. So the team, there actually wasn't a whole lot listed about the founder. So the founder is named, and I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, Zhu Fangcheng. He is, one of his biggest accomplishments is he is the owner of Fujian Sept Wolves Industry. It's a $7.3 billion company, or at least it's valued as such. And he is also a graduate of, or at least graduated with a degree in business management. And again, there was not a lot on him. I tried to find a LinkedIn, couldn't find a whole lot on him. There was actually a little bit more information on some of his team members, which are some of the two most prominent ones. They actually had a wide team, or a pretty strong team. We'll start with Jin Zihe. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right either, but he is a graduate of the University of Minnesota. He's worked at Bell Labs as well as Honeywell. He's the former vice president of Samsung, so that's great to see. He's also one of South Korea's electronics industry leaders, well respected there. He has written over 250 papers as well as 60 patents. Wei Zhangji is another part of the team. He's sort of their blockchain expert, or at least he looks like one from his credentials. He has a doctorate in engineering, graduated from the University of Delaware, just across the street from where I grew up or went to school. He is part of the Network Space Safety Engineering Research Institute as well, and he has a background in having worked for Google, Qualcomm, and Bloomberg, which are 3 very well-respected companies. So, very strong individual here in Wei Zhangji. Some of the key features about WALTON. So, what is WALTON Coin and WALTON Chain? What are they trying to do? So, they track and store information by using RFID technology and storing that onto the blockchain. That is sort of their entire mission. They're a Chinese ICO, which, as many of you may be aware of, is the largest, or home of the largest global manufacturer in the world, China, that is. So it goes hand in hand here with this whole supply chain management company. They are creating an RFID beacon chip with intellectual property rights. So they're creating their own RFID chip, which RFID isn't anything new. We'll talk more about it, but they're creating their own proprietary chip with its own intellectual rights. And they're really striving to take a hold of some of the bottlenecking issues that commercial industries face with as far as apparel and clothing lines go in the supply chain management space. And WALTON Chain is also going to be the mother chain, and there is an opportunity to earn dividends from some of the child chains that are built. So WALTON chain will serve as the mother chain, whereas there'll be a potential for other chains to be built for, say, different stores or different clothing lines. They can have their own chain and manage everything on their own chain. So that are the key features of Walton. Let's talk about what RFID is. So RFID is radio frequency identification. It began in the 1960s, especially with the government and military technology. It became essential sometime in the 80s, I believe. The government here in the U.S. anyway mandated that all military equipment had RFID technology. RFID technology is a way for basically equipment to be tracked via radio signals. It is amazingly popular in a lot of different industries, especially in regards to system maintenance, middleware, and systems. And the cost of RFID technology has dropped dramatically. We are down to about 10 cents a chip RFID, as quoted in their white paper. In recent years, I think in the 2000s, we were down to about 12 cents. And then in the decades prior to that, we were at $1. So now RFID technology is incredibly affordable, which has really paved the way for what WALTON Chain is trying to do by using and utilizing RFID technology on a grander scale, especially when it comes to supply chain management and with China. What is the Internet of Things? So they do have a tie into the Internet of Things. So talking about what the Internet of Things is, this is a quote here right from the Internet. The interconnection via the Internet of computing devices embedded in everyday objects, enabling them to send and receive data. And this can really be anything that can communicate with anything. We can have lamps. We have lamps in our home now. My Alexa talks to all the lights in the house, and I tell her to shut up when she's when she starts going off in the morning with my alarm. There's cars. Cars can start to talk to each other. Smart cars, headphones, cell phones, washing machines, your coffee makers. Everything here that is able to connect to the internet is basically a smart device. And we are seeing the ability for all these devices to just start to be able to talk to each other. We initially started out with basically the Internet 1.0. Back basically, it all started with the military. They were the first people to utilize the internet. And then in the 2000s, we had this big surge of basically things being able to come online and talk to each other. We had things like email, things like all these amazing companies now like Amazon, Google. And we kind of launched into what we call Facebook. Sorry. Facebook is another great example, but we launched into what we would call maybe the Internet 2.0. And now we're coming to the Internet 3.0, where devices are coming online, and not even the devices, but people and things. We have communications not only from things to things, where like machine to machine talking, but people to machines, people to people, things to things talking to each other. So we can have devices hooked up to our vitals and communicate signals to, say, our doctor, and they can start to look after us and make sure we're running okay, for lack of a better term. So we're entering basically what is this kind of Internet 3.0 here with the Internet of Things, where everything can begin to talk to each other. And we're having the development of basically what we call smart cities at this point, where just everything is going to be able to communicate and talk with one another. And really, it's kind of crazy when you start to think about it. We can start to have machine-to-machine learning, where machines can almost kind of have and run their own economy, and it starts to get really crazy, but it's really cool at the same time. So that's kind of what the Internet of Things is. Unfortunately, this number got chopped off. That's great. But anyway, 100,890,526,124. What that number represents is the possible number of smart devices talking to each other by the year 2020. The number is outstanding, and it's only rising right now. I forget what we're at right now, and it's difficult to actually pinpoint how many smart devices out there are talking to each other. I see numbers as small as 26 billion. This was taken from one report I read. 100 billion smart devices are talking to each other. So this is really a tremendously emerging community, or industry rather, that is only going to continue growing. We've only started to just see the development of smart devices come online within the past couple of years. And the number of devices that will become smart in the coming years will blow your mind. So I just wanted to share that statistic with you. So Walton in a nutshell. Walton is really gearing themselves, and they have a very specific niche community or niche basically use case. They're working in things like the logistics, warehousing, sorting business, store sales, and inventory. Basically, they want to be able to track all this in the supply chain management industry, especially with apparel. And this is really becoming an issue as online sales are increasing and stock becomes really hard to manage. As we mentioned, counterfeiting clothing. It becomes incredibly difficult to tell which clothing is on which truck at which time. Boxing and unboxing becomes extremely messy. How much do we have in stock, whether that be an online store or a physical store? Sorting business has become a nightmare with industries and especially the online sales increasing, and it has become incredibly more difficult to be able to monitor these things. We've had the advent of drop shipping in the past couple of years, and it has just become a nightmare to be able to track what we have in stock and what is not in stock. And RFID technology is basically a little chip that can be placed inside of these clothings because they have become so small and so affordable that they can be placed inside of the clothing. They can be placed inside of the vans, inside of these boxes, and track all of this and be able to store it on the blockchain where it becomes visible and accessible to everybody. It becomes automated, which blockchain offers. It's going to solve, or what Walton's trying to do is solve basically all these issues here in the supply chain management industry. And they have a very specific use case when it comes to the Internet of Things and what they're trying to address. So again, they're not trying to address, phones being able to talk to each other and your smartwatches and the TVs. They're focusing strictly to supply chain management and apparel in particular. And I want to talk a little bit about IOTA versus WALTON chain. So I know some people had compared it to kind of like the IOTA of China, and I really think that that's a false comparison and not a valid one to make. So they really sit on two different sides in my eyes. So I put cryptocurrency here in the middle. That's kind of where the similarities end. So you have WALTON chain on one side and IOTA on the other. WALTON chain, for starters, runs off proof of trust, which is basically an improvement to the existing proof of stake mechanism, proof of stake and trust. So it improves upon some of the functionalities of proof of stake, and it runs off the proof of stake blockchain. They again are working specifically in the supply chain management industry, specifically in China. So that's sort of where I see the similarities ending. They are a cryptocurrency, and that is about all they share. They're both running off of, or they consider themselves a cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, IOTA runs off Tangle, a completely different set of technology, where I covered IOTA separately in a video before, and I'd encourage you to go back because IOTA is very interesting as well. It is basically, they move the transaction mechanism from, basically, and put that in place, or hand that over to the people who create the transactions. So every time you make a transaction, you have to approve 2 other transactions. So they really shifted who holds and controls that transaction mechanism to the user. And by doing so, there are no fees involved because it actually requires the user to approve and do work on their end to create a new transaction. Additionally, IOTA is serving to become the domain for all Internet of Things to be able to talk together. So they're striving to basically make their project is a lot broader than WALTON chain. They're trying to become the domain and create the foundation for which all smart devices can talk to one another, not just clothing and not just the supply chain management industry. They want to be able to enable your smartwatch to talk to you, to talk to the drone who picks up the vending machine, who takes it over to here in this smart city, who can talk to your car, who can talk to the doctor. They want to create that foundation or domain in which all devices can talk to one another. They're trying to do something massive, absolutely massive, incredible. Meanwhile, WALTON chain is very specific. They don't run off of Tangle technology. They are geared specifically for one industry, the supply chain management industry, and they're not trying to create a foundation or home for all of these devices. They're going to be basically home of supply chain management companies that want to launch off of them. So very, very different in my opinion, and I do not think it's fair to compare them. I think they're very different. Some rumors about what WALTON chain is working on. So they're in talks with Air, a $29 billion consumer electronics company, which would be huge for them. If that takes off, this would be one company that they could begin working with to create their RFID technology and really propel their supply chain management project forward. Additionally, Binance claims that WALTON Chain is in talks with a clothing company called Beseto. It's a $9 billion company, and they might be looking to partner with them to actually develop some of their RFID technology and move that to the blockchain and see if that would be a great fit. So these are just some rumors. The website makeover. Now, this is not a makeover, or not a rumor, rather. This is directly taken from their Twitter, WALTON Chain. Thanks, everyone, for your support. We are truly overwhelmed. Good news, our website will be getting a makeover in the next couple of weeks, which is great because I took a look at their website, and it lacks some things. What I want to share with you guys is this is a break to their website, and I just wanted to show you, for one, this announcement. So I really like the fact that they are a Chinese company, and this was translated into English, and it basically says that all Chinese users that participated in the ICO and WALTON Chain have the ability to basically refund their tokens, which a lot of these projects are doing. So it's great to see the transparency there. But just exiting out of this, I actually had to translate this page using Google's translator. So it did not look like there was a natively built-in feature here where I could convert on WALTON's website themselves and basically break it down. And it is not the most interactive site. It does not look like the most cleanest. So I'm glad to see that they're working on a makeover, and hopefully there will be a native button where I can swap over to English. So I just wanted to break free to that. Let's go back to the presentation. So it's great to see that they're working on a website, and let's talk about the roadmap. So the roadmap is really wide, and what they're trying to do is really massive. Their roadmap began in November when the project first started off, and if I fast forward to here, this is where we are. The ICO launched in July, and they're looking to basically launch the Genesis block in October, so they haven't even launched the first block yet. The WALTON digital wallet won't come online until March 2018, and there's a whole bunch of stuff here listed in between that serve as sort of key features of the roadmap, but they really aren't looking to bring this to the masses until June 2020. So they're working on their proprietary RFID chip. They'll be deploying smart contracts. Mass production of the blockchain RFIDs won't even take place until 2019. The application itself, WALTON Chain, won't enter its 3.0 version, which is basically when, like I said, they can begin to bring this to the masses and then successfully do so by 2020. So they're working on something that's extremely massive, and this project is just a little baby right now. It needs to be nurtured and fed, and hopefully all of these little pieces here in the roadmap can come together because it's quite big and extensive what they're trying to do. So now I want to break free and talk about WALTON coin price and it as an investment, and a little bit about my opinion, so you can make your own decisions on your own, and I'll offer you a little bit now about what I think. So the current price as of today is $3, up 35% on the day, and as many of you know, I don't touch anything that looks like this from a parabolic standpoint. Not a good day to get in on WALTON coin if you're looking to get in. It had blown up over here when it first launched, and it got onto some of the exchanges, and then price slowly started to decrease. We see a market cap of 73 million, which is pretty solid. Their circulating coin supply currently is 25 million with a total supply of 70 million, which is a little bit on the low end. That is good. I do like to see that. My personal opinions on whether to invest or not. This is an incredibly young project, and this is something that you need to hold on to for the long term. You're not going to see anything happen overnight. This is a little bit kind of like IOTA and EOS in the fact that they are a little bit of a pipe dream. They are trying to do something that is massive, and absolutely they have the possibility to become a $100 coin if successful. But that ain't happening this year. It ain't happening next year. This is a project that needs a lot of work, and what they're trying to do is really massive, and that's one of the reasons why they launched an ICO, so that they could raise money to do what they're trying to do. Now, I personally think this is one of those coins that I'll be looking to invest in later on, but it's not something that I'd be looking to pick up right now. I don't think it's going to give you a great return on investment just because it is so far away. What I'd like to do is, if you're really interested, pick up a little bit. Pick up 1% of your portfolio, 0.5%, nothing major, and hold on to it and watch the project grow and develop. See if they deliver on their roadmap deliverables. See what they're doing. Check in on them. Join their Slack channels and see if they're delivering. Because again, this is a project that is for the long haul. What they're trying to do is massive, and it's not happening overnight. This project isn't going to triple or quadruple next week. That would be quite ambitious. So those are my opinions. I think this is very early on. I think it is a pipe dream at this point. I think what they are striving to do is definitely needed, but will it take place? Will they deliver? That is something to be seen. I do think they have a great team and they have a lot to work on. So it is extremely young at this point in my eyes to invest a strong position into Walton Coin. And that sort of wraps it up. So I thank you all for watching. This is one of the last few days we have for people to be able to join our Moon Lounge, where we go over all of our trades. We have a ton of researchers on the team researching things for you each day. You get access to my trades real time, access to me and my partner 24/7 to answer questions. It's a great community where everyone is sharing information in there every day. I'd highly consider joining. It's $100 per month. We really typically strive that people bring at least $5,000 or more to the table, as we wouldn't think that $100, in bringing to the table to invest is going to pay for itself. Promising 100% returns each month is a little unrealistic. So definitely consider joining. We have a few days left and a few seats open left for October. You can consider joining or participating in my course over on Udemy. It's $10 and you get everything you need to learn on cryptocurrency. Definitely the place that I would look to start. We're also on SoundCloud, so you can look for our podcasts there. And I do take one-on-one appointments if you're not someone who wants to deal with the day in and day outs of cryptocurrency. For a full money-back guarantee, if you're not happy with your service, all you have to do is say so. And you can join us over on Facebook. In fact, if you share this video tomorrow on Facebook, you will be eligible to win some free cryptocurrency. So share this either on Facebook or Twitter, actually, to be eligible. Hit that thumbs up button. What it does, it lets other people in the community to know that this video was worth watching. And if you're not a subscriber, I make these videos here every day. So take a look at what I do here. It's great to have you part of the community, and I look forward to bringing you some awesome content tomorrow. So feel free to leave your comments in the video below. I do take a look at them, and I'm always happy to answer your guys' questions. So thank you all for watching, and remember, stay a crypto-somniac, because the rich never sleep.